be set, Lord. Please lead, guide, and direct everything we do here today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll, please.
Norman Frazier. Phil Melton.
Here.
Rocky Preston.
Here.
Rochelle Hill.
Here.
Kalia Guy. Here. We do have one.
We do have a quorum. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak for citizens forum, we can get out a paper that anyone would like to stand and speak.
Not yet.
Okay, as I wasn't expecting to be chairing this, I do not have an agenda. We only have one item, no one on the citizens forum. And we have minutes from last meeting.
They're in your packet, but I don't know. So we're able to read over them. They're in the previous.
In the previous,
Yeah. And then I'm commissioning.
oh, okay, not in this packet, but anything else. Okay. Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approval. Resolutions. We, see resolution number 4, which has to establish a committee for resale of land bought at the delinquent tax sales. And, it provides, the whereas Tennessee Code annotated 67-5-2507 D1 provides for a committee of 4 members to be elected by the county legislative body from the county legislative body, who together with the mayor shall place a fair price on each tract for which price the same shall be sold. And we have listed here that there'll be the county mayor, the property assessor, the county attorney, and the chairman of the property committee. Okay. We have a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Not for me.
Okay. I have a question. Mayor, are we setting a minimum bid? Is that what we're gonna do for the property, or?
Well, that's what the consensus of putting 4 people together to kind of determine what's a good price to put as a minimum bid.
Okay.
We want to be enticing of a bid too, so there's a lot of strategy that goes behind that. And, but don't be surprised that if some of those are drastically low. Because some of these properties, as you know, are just in the middle of nowhere, and the property assessor, he has to put some figure down. So a lot of times if you do some research, you may see $1,000 blanketly, but you know properties that I'm talking about, you probably couldn't get $1 for them.
Down in Deer Park and down at the Sugar Tree area,
Yeah.
some properties down there.
So more than likely, when we come up with those type instances, we'll probably put a $250 minimal bid, knowing that the legal fee is gonna be $250. So they're looking at $500 to kind of pay to make that happen, and so we kind of, that's why I say there's a lot of heads we gotta put together to make sure we put things in an attractive way. And between me and Ryan Hall and Tim Burris, we've been the ones that's been looking at it the most, and we're going to try to parcel lands that touch one another first, so that we sell 6 or 5 or 4, anything that would entice a bid.
Especially in Deer Park, those properties that are such small parcels that if you can put them together, Ryan was working on putting them together last time.
So we're going to be smart about it, and that's why I say we've got 4 heads or better than 1 as far as coming up with good strategies. But
And honestly, the 4 heads you're choosing, I mean, I think we're gonna get the best solution and the best recommendations out of these 4 people. I mean, you know, they're all very savvy on this stuff.
What also another thing this will do is, we probably have already offered a lot of these for sale in the past, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I can't find a record of which ones we've done that with, and really done it in a fair process. This is gonna be very well advertised, and once it goes through what you call an initial reading, and y'all approve it, then let's just say 30 properties don't sell, they're the worst of the worst. It does give me now the flexibility of saying, hey, we offered it for public sale. You know, this has been offered, there was no bid. So when someone comes in to my office, so long as they meet that minimal bid that we've set, I can just sell it right there, say, take it off our hands. And unfortunately, I've said this before, we probably have a lot more, what I call, in the hopper that hasn't even hit us yet. This process takes about 4 or 5 years to finally get into the county's name. And so these properties that we're selling, really, you're looking at, they're like already 5 years old, you know, of us trying to collect taxes. So who knows what's accumulated through the court system in the last, 2-3 years. So we're probably gonna be doing this on a regular basis, which I think is a good thing. We're finally getting them off our hands and hopefully collecting some money in the process.
Well, is this gonna be an online auction, or
No,
sale bids, or?
Initially, it won't even be sealed bid, will be a minimal opening bid, and we'll probably try to have it in the large courtroom over here.
I've seen them do that I've seen them do that in the lobby of the courthouse. I've seen them auctioning off properties with just a group of people.
Yeah, now
standing
those are cases where the bank's coming in here and doing it, or the clerks, the judicials are
okay.
doing it. But these are properties that have gone through that process and still haven't sold, you know. The thing is, after we get this initial sale going, then, and this is kind of a very flexible resolution. I may enlist an online or a realtor to say, take this off our hand, kind of like a collector, where they go and they just do it kind of flexible. We may say, hey, if you can sell something, but it's kind of.
We want to get this out.
I want to get this. I want to get 274 of them are listed. Now, out of that 274, I have to bring it to y'all's attention, because there's a couple that would make a park, would be join onto a park, that we may say, hey, this makes better attaching it to the park. And so there's one that is adjacent to the schools. So I want to go through the school board and say, hey, listen, this would probably be property, if you would be interested, let us just sign it over to you. But you've got to make the list kind of open, but out of the 274 properties, let's just say there's 250 of them that will probably be viable sales options.
Would there be a minimum amount to raise a bid, or if we just?
Yeah, I think it's probably smart to, if it's a $250 minimal bid, I look at it as, I don't want to get in a $1, we may say
10% or something percentage to raise it.
Yeah. I'm open to any suggestions and advice that y'all have on this. We feel like we've got a process in the works, but still more minds that can weigh in on good ideas. My main thing is I want to get rid of these. I want to get these properties off Benton County's books.
Any other discussion on this resolution? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. We have, Ms. Correa, is this what you were referring to? Or is this what we got?
This is just kind of
A general? Okay.
what we talked about.
This is, okay, this will be This is not a resolution, so I guess this is something
No,
we
it's
need
just not
to
this.
ask the mayor about. We have in our packet, we have a Benton County, Tennessee Sports Complex operating agreement, which, I guess we're gonna need to vote on the 15th because it's scheduled to begin on the 16th, which Lance. It's just we're extending it for another year for the same, facilities operating agreement.
Tournament fees, is it going back into the general fund to go into their line items?
Do we need to take action on this, or is this something that's
Well,
gonna come, if you're gonna bring it up?
Again,
another
a lot of
business?
times, the mayor has contractual authority, to go ahead and go in, but one thing I like doing is running it through the legislative process. We talked this over in the Parks and Recreation, but because I want an active board, I want a Parks and Recreation board that's gonna take pride in the property and really be active in front. And there's some discussion, there's some concerns about whether the contract was to the county's best interest or. Honestly, we're not in the situation of really being on what you. So, and Greg can't be everywhere, so a lot of it, we're relying. Kind of doing a lot of the footwork for us. Now, I'm not gonna say that this contract won't change next year. Dictate the terms, and we really are dependent upon people properly upkeeping the park and doing those type of things. And I don't know if I'm the bad guy or whatever, but this was important to me, and I think, at least since I've become mayor, I think you've seen a much better response. Association at one time had a little bit of conflict, Now, if you listen to one side, they're saying, oh, we were always there, we did what we could do, but, that wasn't always the case, and I think that this is open to everyone. However, if you have it at this particular point in time, don't just tell people that it's ours. Explain the process to them. Explain why. Work with them. These people might come and be your concession people one day. If we're all working as a partnership. So to me, we've come a long way in a few months that we've really been promoting this. And there's a lot more cooperation between the Soccer Association now and the Girls Softball League. As y'all know from the budget, we're gonna start doing repairs out there. We're gonna apply for a $75,000 tourism grant, 100% funded, no cost to the county, to put into that park. Because when it's on. It's a huge tourism attraction. So we're gonna do some good things out there. And this is the opportunity for us to begin building, hey, you get along with them, y'all get along with them, and let's start looking at this park as our park and not just your park or your park. And so until that time comes, I think we're trying to do our footwork out there.
And so this came before the Parks and Recreation. You as the agent for the county enter into the contract with the
Too, but it does, y'all are the legislative oversight. I kind of feel like an oversight of the property. Now, we didn't have a property to themselves, but ultimately this is county property, and y'all need to know what. Well, here's the deal. If someone raises the question, that's why we put it in your packet to just review. but
I don't believe we need to take any action then on that. Voted to, recommend the, committee for the resale of properties. We really don't need to take any action on that, because that's what y'all will be doing, is taking the action on that, so that's more of an informative thing to be in the packet, rather than something we need to take action on.
correct.
I believe that's all the resolutions that we have. Before we go to other business, do you have anything that you?
I was gonna bring it up under any of the business, but, or I should have probably brought it up under this. All under what I call property. It's a big county property item. It's something that I want y'all to be very informed about. But to me, you know, I can't understand why anyone would question the county not having some kind of vehicle, you know, and, I could use one every day if I wanted to. You know, Ryan Hall's, business, he could use it literally every day because he's on the road. But it's open to any county employee that's on what I call official business. You know, there's no reason why, we should assume liability if you have to drive to Jackson, and providing the van's available, someone else hadn't checked it out or reserved it for you. But if you're driving on behalf of a county commissioner, allows you that option to not be burdened with what I call liability. Not only have we damaged your car, but you're gonna have to subrogate to the county to collect for your car. You know what I mean? By letting you have a county vehicle at your disposal, provided you reserve it first and you have that opportunity. And so that's one thing. Second thing is, you know, I don't want to drive my truck when I'm on official business. I'm on official business 24/7. But when someone comes into this county and I'm going to take them around this county, I don't want to drive my truck with 285,000 miles. Not only that, it's a 2005 model, so my air conditioning may not be in the best shape or whatever. It's also the image of the county that's at stake. You know, do I want to go out to the airport and borrow a 1979 Dodge van? I mean, it's really embarrassing that the county does not. We should have at least probably 2 or 3 of them. It's like telling the highway department, no, y'all can't drive a truck. You go drive that darn car with 200,000 miles while you're out there Texas road. And I have asked for $25,000 in the budget to buy. I want a minivan. I think we need a minivan, so you can take 4 people, 4 commissioners to Murfreesboro to whatever center.
Keith, your staff had a class. Rather than take on their personal cars, because not everyone has a car that is in good operation. Before I bought my little Chevy, if I had to go to a class or an in-service, I had to take a department car because the car I drove, I was worried about it, you know, getting there and back and not breaking down. But, you know, I personally just prefer my own vehicle because I love my little Chevy. But when the COs have in-service, they either carpool in one person's car and they fill out a claim form, or they take one of our transport cars. If, you know, they don't want to take their car because they're going to Weakley County, Davidson County, wherever. So I think the courthouse, you know, it's a reasonable thing to have.
Well, I think it's smart. I just think it's smart. It looks good for the county when you do have these, let's just say Marcia Blackman comes in town tomorrow, and you want to show her it looks better on the county if we've got the means to actually take her around instead of subjecting. But it's good to me for Benton County to have one. But second of all, it still gets it more than likely will pay for itself, you know, through the reimbursements that we're paying out to various department heads right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's smart, I think it's something we, like you say, I've inherited this, we just haven't had it done before, but this is something the county should already ought to have, you know.
If we have. How are you gonna resolve?
To me, first of all, we'll have a policy of reserving it, you know what I mean? So if you know on October the 8th that you have a particular, official business function that you have to be at, hey, you sign up for it, you know, I'm gonna make it a first come, first serve, but with the right to saying, wait a minute, you're just driving to Big Sandy, this person's driving to Memphis. Maybe it's better, you know, to use good discretion on that.
I'm sure most of our office holders and employees are reasonable. I mean, if I had signed up for it and again, Kalia was going to Memphis, I would be like, oh, you know, have at it.
Well, they should, but normally this will be a county vehicle, not a sheriff's or whatever. And
Right,
so,
but I'm saying-
so I may have trump things, say, wait a minute now, I'm gonna show preference to them, providing it's not a last minute type request and you've been planning on using it or whatever. But, you know, there'll be some office holders that will use their own vehicle, because that's what they've been grown to do, but I feel like, after a course of a year, this will be the mode of everybody says,
Use on it, so that should pretty much take care of it.
and I feel like a van gives us the best option for safety and also
Use it.
and I asked for off the state contract or get a generic or used one or whatever. Maybe we'll get it for 21,000. Be able to get a quality vehicle that will last us a long time.
And we put that.
That's why I wanted y'all to know.
In case someone.
I have a question. Has anyone August the 8th? Okay, because I responded and I just that or who all got invited, but
Not your own transportation, your
presidential administration is willing to do. What do you want us to take our there? So I just didn't know.
If you'll get with me, if you're very serious about going from Congressman Green's, you know, direct emails, so normally if you're gonna be up there, it's good for you to
Absolutely. And I also want to get with you, I mean, I don't know how big this thing's gonna be or anything. Concerned about. So, I mean, there's a lot of 60 range, so I'd like anybody's input.
And, if you're the only Benton County we could do, you know, as a county, to possibly out there, you know.
I mean, I'm not so much concerned about that. I understand we don't have a budget for it. I mean, I'm doing this because I want to. But if there is some minor reimbursement I can apply for, that's fine. But
Each commissioner, I think we allotted $200 per year for a training class
going.
Any other business?